And by the way, if you're watching this, do remember to share this. Do remember to share that piece of information with as many people as you can. In the hope that finally we will wake up and do something about it. It's probably too late this year. No solutions will be found this year. But if we really get activated, maybe we'll be able to find a solution next year. And the second reason why you should be sharing this particular report and what Dr. Nangia just said is because if somebody is actually living in these regions right now and are wanting to roam around outside, do take precautions. Wear that mask. Try and keep the pollution down. If you can afford it, have an air purifier in your house. If you can't, try and find other ways of protecting yourself to the maximum extent you can. This air pollution is not good for you. And you just heard the reason why. All right, let's now move on to something else. A big story emerging. Indian students could soon get degrees from top foreign universities right here at home, in campuses from leading foreign universities that have been set up right here in India. Yes, that's right. They don't have to go to America or Canada or UK or Australia or any of those other places. They can get those degrees once foreign universities set up campus here. Now, the UGC has recently announced regulations for global universities to set up and operate campuses in India. These regulations are in line with the National Education Policy 2020, and they aim to increase the quality and add a global dimension to higher education in India. Well, for more on this, we're now being joined by UGC Chairman, Professor M. Jagdish Kumar. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We'd spoken a few months ago and you'd said why this is so important. Number one, all that foreign exchange that Indian students are spending, going abroad, that can be saved. You'll get good, high quality, higher education right here in India, supplementing what we've already got. Plus, of course, research possibilities open up. So we know why you're doing this. Tell us the guidelines that you've just suggested. Is that an important step in operationalizing all of this?
So, Vikram, first of all, these are regulations, and these have been announced as a Gazette notification by Government of India. And the basic idea of these regulations is to facilitate the foreign higher educational institutions to set up campuses in India, across India, anywhere, wherever they wish to establish these campuses, with the aim of providing high-quality education at the undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctorate levels. And the institutions can choose their own faculty members using the same parameters that they use in their main campus. They can adopt their own admission policies and decide the academic programs that they wish to offer in these campuses.
So if I can just understand what you're doing right now and what people have understood so far, how much flexibility will the foreign universities have? If you're I don't know, Harvard or Johns Hopkins or Oxford, you can now just come, set up a campus in India, run it whichever way you want to, teach whatever you want to, get the faculty that you want, and also charge the fees that you want to charge. Is that what is now being permitted?
To make this a possibility, we have given autonomy to these institutions to decide on various parameters, such as the admission policy, faculty recruitment, and the academic programs that they wish to give, and so on, so that we will be in a position to attract some of the best universities to come to India. And already we are in discussion with several groups who have visited UGC and expressed their desire to set up the campuses here. And I'm very positively inclined to say that in the coming 1 or 2 years, we will see campuses of the foreign higher educational institutions offering their academic programs in India.
Now, obviously, the big advantage of this from the Indian point of view is that whatever people are paying eventually as fees to the universities, it could be lower because the costs of running operations in India may be lower. Fees should also potentially be lower. But also from an Indian point of view, we're right now sending, 400,000, 500,000, maybe even 1 million students abroad every year. Now, many of them can stay on, and that's very valuable foreign exchange that we'll be saving.
Vikram, right from the beginning, we have been saying that this is another window that we are providing to the students to access high quality international education by staying within India. but the number of students who wish to go abroad will continue to rise because we have too many students in our school system. Currently, 26 crore students are there. And with our aim to double our GER in the coming years, the number of students who aspire to access high quality higher education will increase. So therefore, those who can afford to go abroad, they will continue to go. But those who wish to stay in India, and here two categories of students. One, they have the financial means to go, but they wish to stay in India. And the other category is they do not have the financial means to go abroad, and they will also come here.
Well, Professor Kumar, a couple of questions have, of course, arisen. Some of the universities, for example, feeling that, do we have to set up a campus entirely on our own? You know, we prefer to partner with people out there. So what are the rules and regulations around that? Some of the people are nervous about red tape and bureaucracy in India. So will you be able to convince them that maybe there can be some sort of a single window system which does not make it too onerous for them to come?
Two things here. One, UGC would like to be a single window to provide all kinds of assistance to these foreign universities. And two, the foreign universities can also establish these campuses as a joint venture. They can partner with an educational institution in India, or they can partner with a company. But in either case, our regulations say that the majority holding should be that of the foreign higher educational institution.
All right, Professor Jagdish Kumar, thank you so much, sir, for joining us, and looking forward to seeing how the implementation of this actually rolls out. Thanks a lot for being with us. Well, clearly it's a big new policy that's come, and it's creating a certain amount of excitement, not just in India, but across the world in many foreign universities. Big question now, how can it actually be implemented on the ground? There have been great policies in the past, especially in this field, that didn't actually go anywhere. Will it be different this time around? For more on that, we have with us Mr. S.S. Mantha, Chairman of the AICTE, and also Ashok Thakur, former Secretary of the Ministry of Human Resource Development. Thank you both so much for being with us. Mr. Thakur, why don't I start with you first? The implementation of this policy, how feasible, how easy do you think it will be?
Vikram, this is definitely a desirable regulation. But as far as practicality is concerned, there are a few question marks, which I think we all should know. Number one is that they have a stipulation that the foreign university will set up its own campus within the boundaries of the country. So, which requires a huge amount of investment. I think that is going to be a practical challenge. No university, foreign university, even the best ones, they're not going to rush into it this year, especially when our investment in research is so low. India's research, investment in research is just 0.8% of our GDP, whereas in China is 2.5 and more. So therefore, unless the best faculty will only come here when we give them good opportunity for research. So that is one of the major issues, I think. And second thing is the legal aspect, because education in India is not for profit. There are several Supreme Court orders and pronouncements which say that education is not for profit. So going around that part is going to be a legal challenge too.
All right, Dr. Mantha, your reaction to this policy, what do you think will be required to make it successful?
I mean, the first is creating an ecosystem where the foreign institutions would really want to come and set base here. Now, the fundamentally what has happened is a lot of areas in emerging research and emerging technology are required here, where the local institutions may not be able to invest all those kind of investments that are required. But then for a foreign university to come in with niche programs could be a possibility. But then for them to set up their own infrastructure, their own establishment, like Thakurji said, it becomes a little difficult. But then within the regulations, if you read the regulations carefully, there is a lot of it unsaid than what is said there. one of the points is they have said the foreign universities need to have their own campus, and they need to set up a campus and so on. But before that, they also talk about joint venture. So as far as joint venture is concerned, probably a campus within the existing universities is a possibility. I mean, which is not outright, rejected within the regulations. So that is one possibility. The second possibility is the regulation is also silent as to what kind of infrastructure and in what form it needs to be set up.
So let me just take that point forward, because the regulations also say that you have to get a faculty which is as good as the faculty that you've got abroad. But if you're going to try and get the top professors to come and say, don't work in Silicon Valley, don't work in Boston, don't work in New York, don't work in London, come to India instead, work here, it means the salaries will have to be competitive, the research opportunities will have to be competitive, and also the living conditions will have to be, well, improved certainly compared to what they are right now.
Absolutely, Vikram. I think without the catering or looking in depth in a realistic way, I think is going to be a big issue, because the faculty, the top faculty will only come. For example, the only country with whom India should be comparing itself is China. When we visited the universities in China, wow, they have created such good facilities for the faculty people. And like I said, there's most of them, the top ones, come to the Chinese university because they give you huge research grants, which ours doesn't seem to be kind of, we are stuck at 0.8% of our GDP. We need to break that ceiling and offer them good amount of not only research money, like you said, you need to give them good living conditions, which I think we have still many years to go, I think.
Dr. Mantha, your take on that, because clearly it's not just about giving undergraduate degrees to Indians, it's also about getting access to the latest technology and some of the finest brains. And for that, you've got to incentivize that research and that technology being developed right here in India.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's a most important point. If a faculty would come to a institution in the country, only if he probably is, getting a good salary, probably something that is as comparable to what he would otherwise get in his own country. The second is the connect with the industry and participating in the kind of collaborative research between the university and the industry, and the possibility of creating new products, processes, and then creating patents out of that, which adds to his resume, his repertoire, and so on, his CV and things like that. And participation in research, publishing in papers, even if it is a joint publication, you need the right kind of person and the right kind of research, the facilities that are required to do that.
All right, Dr. Mantha, Mr. Thakur, thank you so much for joining us with that perspective.